Daith da, Ewi Nakan. Welcome to podcast number 129. Well, that week flew by. I don't know where that went. Last weekend, practically, it was almost like old days. Worked all weekend. Just really doing paperwork, catching up kind of thing. And then Monday, we had dear Idy's funeral in Eglosale. And she was so brave. What a fighter she was. I mean, she'd been poorly for a few years now. And it was lovely to see so many people there at the church, to say goodbye to her. But a real fighter, dear of her. And 'twas a sad day to say goodbye to somebody so young. We've had quite a few funerals, actually, in our chapel this week. And then the wakes afterwards for a few of them up in our function room as well. And I know also we've been down Penmount, Glyn Valley. We did go down Penmount for Di's funeral from Bodmin. Now, Di and Bray, they was a lovely couple. And they was friends with mother and father, but also me grampy, Sid Bray. Because Bray used to work with grampy on GPO years ago. So it was sad to say goodbye to somebody else that, I've known for such a long time. And yesterday we was at Glyn Valley to say goodbye to Liz. You may well have seen it on our Facebook page and website. Liz was well known locally in the music scene, but also throughout the duchy because Liz was the harpist for the Cornish Gorseth. And if you have been to the Gorseth at all, when they have their celebrations there every year, latterly it would have been Liz that you would have seen playing the harp. And of course others knowed her because she was also married to Peter Rowe, and he was one of the original fishermen's friends there from Port Isaac. So it was a lovely attendance again, a lot of people there, and I'm sure she would have loved it. And then we had Tim's funeral. Now, Tim, that was quite a shock, really. I've known Tim for a long time too. Not that much older than me, really. And that was at our place. And the chapel downstairs was full. And also the overflow. There was a good crowd there as well upstairs. So a lot of people there turned out to say goodbye to Tim. And then today had been a day of the Triumph Bonneville. I did put a photo on our Facebook page. We had two funerals today, actually, where we used the Triumph Bonneville sidecar hearse. I was on the one in the morning for Adrian, neighbour to me mother's. Crumbs, what a crowd there. What a crowd. And if I can, I do like to lead the hearse in. So I rode my bike there just in front. And very sad, I know, another one just a little bit older than me, Adrian. Fantastic turnout, really was. And then we was up Delabole this afternoon for Helen's funeral. And again, the chapel was full and also back in the Sunday school room too, for another lovely lady who sadly passed away. So, that gives you a little idea of just some of the funerals that we have conducted this week. And there's others. We did have a lovely intimate service there at our chapel as well with just a close family. And like I said before, those funerals, they've just got such a special feel to them as the big funerals. And you just get such a variation of sizes of funerals. And I always remember Terry used to say years ago, no two funerals are exactly the same. And he's right. They vary in so many ways. And we have had a real variation again this week. So that gives you an idea of some of the funerals we have conducted. We did have a lovely little hour on Wednesday this week because you may remember listening back. I had 2 or 3 episodes with our old mate and our old work colleague, Johnny Ferret. And you can look back to very interesting what Johnny said at the time on my podcast. Well, we went over to their house on Wednesday because 'twas his wife, Pat. It was her birthday and she was 100. And we went over and we spent a lovely little time there. Johnny, like he said on the podcast, he's a toy boy. He's only 98. But Pat was 100 on Wednesday. And, we had a booty time. We really did. And she's looking good. She was a Brenton, actually. That was her maiden name, all Weybridge family. And I think she said that her grandparents lived here in my house that I live today, in Eglesale. So they go back a brave time. So does my house. But yeah, it was brilliant to see Pat and Johnny. Say, he's 98, Pat's now 100, and they're still there living at home, and they're doing good. So happy birthday to Pat. Right, well now I'll hand over to Sue for her last part of her interview. And I know you're going to love this one. We've had brilliant comments when I've been out and about from people say they really enjoyed Sue's interview. So we'll now do part 3 and then I'll speak to you directly. So here it is. So living in Tranant then, was there Cox's Corner? Was the shop there?
Oh yes, Cox's Corner then was Eustace's.
Oh, right.
Eustace's was in there then. The bakery, when I was young, was Barnicot's. Barnicot's had it. Whether Eustace's had it when I was very young or not, I don't know. But I can remember Barnicot's being in there.
So that's where Mervyn lives.
Yeah,
now,
that was Barnicot's bakery.
So it was always a bakery. Oh, I didn't realise
that. Yeah, that was a bakery. That's why it's called Cox's Corner, because it was Cox's bakery.
Yeah. Ah.
It was the bakery and the little bungalow, and the shop was all Cox's.
Oh,
all belonged to Cox's. And in the shop, when Eustace's finished, Mr. and Mrs. Treadwell took it over.
Right.
He was a little bit quiet, but I learned later on that I think I'm right in saying he was a prisoner of war with the Japanese. Oh. So he was allowed to be. And Mrs. Treadwell was a teacher at comprehensive school. She was a lovely lady. And across the road there was another little shop. That was run by the people, the Shaw people that ran the shop on the Platte. And then they sold it, and Mr. and Mrs. Wilson took over.
Right, because there used to be the post. That's
where the post office was. Yeah, the post office was in there.
Yeah.
And well, that was theirs until I think they finished. They retired, and the shop went when they retired.
I see.
Talking about Eglesale Road, on the end of the bridge where that big blue place is now.
Yeah.
When I was a child, the bottom part of that went right back. Right. And there was a dress shop in there. Oh, right. And it was called Lorna Doone's Dress Shop. And there's this huge great window in the bottom. And along the bottom, where there was sort of like 18 inches of wall, and along that there was a brass rail. Right. And when Peter was a teenager, he used to cycle over there every morning before he went to school and clean this brass rail.
Did he?
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Never.
And then next to that there was Mr. Sleeman the butcher.
Oh yes. Yeah.
And then that went into a greengrocer's shop. And next to that was Trudy Felgate's, another dress shop. Ah. And then you went on and we had Ronnie Williams' furniture department. When Mum died and we were cleaning out her house, we found a bill from Ronnie Williams's for a double bed and a headboard. Yeah. And I think it was something like £8.6 and threepence.
Yeah. Blimey.
I can't remember the date, but I think it was way back in the end of the 40s, early 50s. £8.6 and threepence for Mother's beds. Yeah. And of course, then there was just along from that, beside the British Legion, there was Welsh's shop.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
And it was Mr. Welsh, and I don't know what relation she was to him, but we always called her Auntie Gus.
Yeah.
And she was in there, and Mr. Welsh had a son, Peter, that was disabled.
Right. And
he was in and out there. Then that went to Stan Brenton's.
Ah, yeah.
And then he opened the fish and chip shop just along there. And then after that, it went to be a shoe repair shop.
Well, I never.
That was when Sasha and
yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I do remember that.
That was when Sasha and Lucy was quite young when I was taking them to school. And the lady that was the lollipop lady used to leave her lollipop in there.
And then when that closed, she used to leave it in our place.
Yeah. Oh, the joys of it. And well, then of course there was Cox's Corner, and that was sort of Eglesale Road back then. Yeah. But,
so who was your other neighbours then in Tranant then?
Which was just the family, really. There was only one other family there, down where Auntie Mabel and Uncle John lived. There was Mr. and Mrs. Kessel.
Right.
And Donald worked for Davies. And I don't know whether I should be telling you this. You edited it out if you didn't, right?
Yeah.
Father was out in the garden one day, and Mrs. Castle came up the road, and she was called Gwen. So, hello, Gwen. Where's Donald today, then? He's home, down painting the kitchen with that there Durex emotional paint.
Oh, brilliant.
They had 2 children, David and Sylvia. And David was academically brilliant. He was the first person around here that I knew of that went to university. And this was back in the early 50s.
Yeah.
And he became a professor of someone or other. And his sister, she married one of his friends and went up. I think she went to Northampton to live.
All right.
And then Donald died. They moved when my Uncle John died and Auntie Mabel moved out. They wouldn't stay down there on their own, and they came up the top of the road up here in one of the old people's bungalows to live.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Castle died, since I've been here living, so in the last 14 years.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. So yeah. Apart from that, up to now, it was just family up there.
Yeah.
And as I say, my aunt and uncle, Aunt Anne and Uncle Reg lived over at Dave. And Uncle Jim lived over at Glen Road. So we was, apart from my dad's oldest brother who went away to live, the rest of us all lived around here. Yeah. Exactly. I had an awful lot of cousins when I was young.
Yeah, definitely.
Because both my grands had 21 grandchildren. Oh. I mean, fair enough, Uncle Howard's 2 children was on both sides.
Yeah, of course.
So I think I worked it. I had something like 38 first cousins when I was small.
Really? Yes. Oh, and I thought I had a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And of course, with Gran being in with the Gills family and all that as well. And she was quite friendly with them all. So,
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was great fun. But because everybody lived around it, Mum's family we didn't keep in contact with so much. But because everybody else was around here, Mark was on the other day about writing thank you letters at Christmas. I said, well, I've never done it because everybody lived here and you saw them.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Because we lived with Gran and Grandad, Christmas afternoon, everybody came in. My poor old mother used to run herself ragged, but she loved cooking and that, so she was quite happy to do it. But everybody came up to us at Christmas. And my Uncle John, being a postman, he would come in, and of course, post was different back then. There would be, I don't know whether it was the one Sunday before Christmas or the 2 Sundays before Christmas, there'd be deliveries.
Yeah, that's true.
And there'd be extra deliveries and everything. And by Christmas Day, Uncle John was absolutely shattered.
Yeah.
And he would come in and we'd sit over in the corner by the fire and he'd go to sleep. But and then the next day you'd see him and he had a filthy cold.
Oh, get away.
And nearly every Christmas was the same with Uncle John, bless him. But that was my family up to now.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Down in the Vale then, I mean, there was an awful lot of families down there that had been there forever. And when Dad was growing up, there was the 7 of them, and there was all the Hamiltons and the Lightfoots and all that.
Right.
And I can remember him saying that they had gas light down there then. Yeah. And from Christmas, the day before Christmas Eve until New Year's Day, the gas light stayed on all night. It was never put out. It was put out during the day, but they stayed on most of the night because people was going up and down, And McGran then, she was, I don't know what you'd call her, like a village nurse, and she would do the hatching and dispatching. She would be there when they was born, and she'd be there to lay them out when they'd gone.
Yeah.
And that little house that they lived in down there had earth floor, didn't have any floor in it. And Gran used to go out and pick rushes.
Right.
Then on the marsh and put those on the floor, I've heard my dad say. Yeah. Cool. And of course, I don't know, I suppose you can remember, again, when I was a child, Trinant used to flood.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah. And we used to go down there, I was 7, 8 years old, it used to come up way past where the plumber's yard is there now. To be up that John Brewer's there. Yeah, to be way up past there. And we'd go down there with our wellies on and we'd be, and of course back then all the sewerage went right out into the river. We was paddling in.
Yeah,
God
exactly.
only knows. But
exactly.
None of us ever got ill.
No.
Because I think we ate a peck of dirt. We wouldn't overly clean.
No.
And you had resistance to it.
Yeah.
But that was always the spring tides and the autumn tides are always flooded.
Yeah.
And like out Slades.
Yeah.
It was always flooded out there.
Yeah.
In that little cottage there where under when the railway bridge was there, where Meekses lived there then.
Yeah, that's right.
And that one was always getting flooded.
Yeah.
But
I remember John Moon, his mother used to watch the tides.
Yeah.
And he'd come home from school someday. He'd say, right, move everything upstairs.
Yeah.
Because they knew they'd get
dog
flooded.
would come in, yeah. Yes, I can remember that quite well.
Yeah.
And Egglasale Road, right the way up Egglasale Road, would be lapping into the gardens. Some of the ones further down near Cox's Corner, they would have it in, but as you went further up, so the paths went up a bit, and I don't think they had it in so bad.
No.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
You don't get that fun these days. Everything's safe and we don't get the fun.
No, exactly.
No, we used to have great fun. And we go down on the playing fields and play putting and the putting green. And
of course, that was there. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, before that was all taken out.
Yeah.
And we was always outdoors. We was never indoors.
No.
And, like I said to you, we'd go out 9 o'clock in the morning and we'd be, I'm sure we was healthier than the kids are today. They're in with their iPads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there you are.
Yeah.
Like,
well, as soon as I got a push bike, I'd be gone in the morning. I'd cycle home for dinner and gone again. I'd go like Cutler's Bridge and all. And mother, father didn't worry.
No, because if you had an accident, there'd be somebody there to look after you because they knew who you were.
Totally.
That is the problem with a small town like this. This has become too big.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Because you'd never do anything wrong because you'd always know to get back to mother and father because everybody knew it, didn't it? That was the thing.
When I was about 14 or 15, Peter was very friendly with Terry Harvey. Yeah. And we went up one Saturday afternoon, we went up to Burlawn and Peter and Terry was doing something to Terry's car. And Heather and I was there as well. So when they thought the car was all right, we went down into Husson Woods. And they both said to us, come on, then you drive the car. I think I was 13 and Heather was 14, or Heather might have been 15 and I was 14. And we drove the car through Husson Woods.
God.
And when we got home, I thought, I'd better tell Father because somebody will have seen us.
Yeah.
So I said, I've been driving Terry's car today, Father. Bloody good job too. The earlier you start, the better you'll be. Which wasn't the reaction I was getting. I was expecting at all. Yeah. So, really good job too. Yeah. So, that was the sort of things we used to get up to. But Weybridge is still a nice little town, but nowhere's ever like it was when you was a kid, is it?
No, exactly.
No. With all the houses building here, it's going to be worse. But then, there you are, can't stop progress, I suppose.
And the shops ain't like they used to be, or
Oh, no. Mark and I often say if our parents come back now, they would know where there was two.
No.
I mean, there's Ellen Bunny's there on the Platte.
Yeah.
And the hairdressers and Langs and Barnicat. And Weeks' garage there.
Yes, yeah.
And the little car parked behind there. And on a Monday, Roger Cowden would come in with his van selling plants and that from the nurseries that they had out to Nizzy. Yeah. And then there was the Spar shop, Alan Wilde.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
And Orkey's, the shop there where they sold the radios and things like that. It was totally different. Yeah. And there was the wool shop on the end of the bridge there.
Yeah, that's right.
And I spent pounds in there one time and another.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. And a cosy cafe across the other side of the bridge. And used to go in there and have... Occasionally we'd treat ourselves, because when I worked in Caves, we used to go home for dinner every day, because we used to cycle. And occasionally we'd treat ourselves and we'd walk to work in the morning and we'd go over Cozy's and have lunch and then walk up and leave. Mrs. Stuart Robertson's gran, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she was in there.
Yeah.
And then there was Cleve's garage and...
Yeah, Jeff Eddy Butcher.
Yes, he was there as well. I think he was... And Mr. Eddy used to come round... Or Jack Steer used to come round with the meat van on a Saturday.
All right.
And on a Saturday, the meat van would come up to Trinan, and also Lang's fruit van would come up.
Would it? Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be Dick Lang would come up then.
Yeah.
And we used to have a threepenny bag. And this was one of the corner bags I used to put the chips in. Yeah. And he'd throw in all bits and pieces of everything. There'd be a bit of fruit and a few sweets and we'd had all sorts for threepence in this bag. Yeah. I used to look forward to that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then there'd be Eustace's, the bakers would come around.
Right.
And Eddie's would come around in the week as well, I think. But he always come around on Saturday. And I remember Jack Steer used to cut off bits of tripe and eat. Oh! Yeah, but yes, it was totally different. Of course, in Pomona Road then there was the jewellers and Wesley Blake.
Oh, Wesley Blake.
Yeah.
They used to have a teddy bear in the window.
That's right, yes. And his shop, I mean, it was so crowded you had to walk in and reverse out. You couldn't turn around in there. There was everything he had in there.
Yeah.
I mean, from the tiniest baby up to secondary school uniform. He had everything in there. Good as gold, lovely man he was. And funnily enough, when we went out, going back to the very beginning, when we went out to Gunwain Chapel, his daughter and son-in-law,
Clorinda.
they do a lot out there.
That's
apparently.
right.
I had a nice little chat with them out there.
Yeah.
Then next to that there was Swallows, the optician.
Yeah.
To begin with, that was where what was she called? Lady that ran the fruit shop. She lived in there.
Right.
Ruth Highland.
Oh, yeah.
She lived in there with her sister.
Would that be Harold's mother?
Harold's mother and his sister. They lived in there. And then when they moved out, they moved up to Friendly Road.
Yeah.
Phil Swallow took it over as the opticians. And then there was Mr. Caves, and he was there from 1926, I think he said they moved in there.
Cool.
And Lucy was 5 when they moved out, so that would have been early 80s when they moved. So it was there for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Next to that was Gordon's record shop.
All right.
Yeah, that was a record shop in there at one time, but it's been several things since then. And then next to that was the fruit shop, which Mrs. Highland sold, and Cowlan's bought. Roger Cowlan's family bought that. And they had that as a fruit shop for a long time. And then on the end, as far as I can ever remember, that has been a cafe.
Yeah.
That have always been a cafe. Down the bottom of the road here, where the dress shop is now, that was Miss Burden's haberdashery shop.
All right.
And you used to go in there. When we went to school and did PE, we had to wear navy blue knickers. The girls had to wear we wouldn't have to wear shorts, but we had to have a stripe down the side, a ribbon of the colour house that we was in. And that we always had to go to Miss Burden's to buy our bit of ribbon to go. We used to go in there and buy that. And then if you went up past there was where the Plonkt is, or whatever it is called.
Oh, yes, I know, yeah.
That was a antique shop at one time, and then it was electrical shop. Again, it was another shop you went in and walked in and reversed out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, on the other side of the road, where the charity shop is now, that was Wills's warehouse.
Yes, yeah.
And my Uncle Howard used to work in there. Yeah. And he worked there for a long time. And my cousin Jenny, she worked upstairs in the office.
Oh, right.
So my Uncle Howard went there to work for a long time. He worked over... There was Williams as the chemist in the main street.
Yes, I
and he worked in there for a long time. And then he went to work over there.
Cool.
Yeah. So...
Brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, Glanville's have been there forever.
Yes, that's right.
And on the corner... on the corner now where the wood pine shop is...
Yeah.
I can't remember what that was when I first went in. I don't think it was anything very much. And then a lady from over Egg the Sale turned it into the corner, she turned into a nice posh gift shop.
Yeah. Right.
And then Jay's Shoes went down there.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Down there further. And that sort of brought that up, which was just mostly foundry stuff down there then earlier on.
Yeah. Jenny's toy shop.
And Jenny's toy shop went in there as well.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm going back now, Dad. But the main street have altered no end because I remember up the far end where rural urban is now, that was May's.
All right.
May's shop. And Jack May was a carpenter, and Peter's father used to work for him at one time. And when I first started work, somebody was taken ill and the shop was closed and it was Christmas.
Right.
And the Christmas tree was in that window for 12 months.
Get away.
And then Sid Williams took it over. Sid and Irie Williams took it over. And since then it had gone on from there. Of course, then there was Ron Chapman's a bit further down.
Yeah.
And then what was next to that? Oh, there was a dress shop next to that, wasn't there?
I can't remember.
Yeah, there was a dress shop next to that. I can't remember what it was called now. And then Barry Strongman took that one over, and I worked in there for him. And then, of course, there was the butchers next to that, Eastman's, Harry Harper and Eastman's Butchers. And then there was the Level Crossing.
Yeah.
Lang's on the other side, and there was Tremaine's, that was a newspaper shop.
All right.
Mr. and Mrs. Paul had that. We went to school with their son, Charlie Paul. And his Mrs. Paul's daughter was Christine Searle.
Oh, yes, I know.
Yeah. And then next to that again was Mallett's.
Yeah.
And when you go in Mallett's, and it was wonderful. When I worked for Barry Strongman, they used to laugh at Mr. Sampson that ran it, because they reckoned if he got more than a £10 note in the till, he'd take it up to the bank. He'd be running up and down. He'd really laugh. The shame really on it. Yeah.
Fantastic shop that was.
Oh, yes. You could find anything in
there.
It was lovely. Lovely little shop that was. And then there was Bon Marsh next to the bank.
Yes, that's right.
And then Lang's, it was International Stores at one time.
International, that's
right. And then Lang's had that. And then where the Cost is, that used to be Eustace's. That was Eustace's cafe there. Downstairs and upstairs, that was. Yeah. And across the road where the antique shop was John Julian's.
Yes, I remember that.
And next door down was another big shop, and that was Treadwell's? No, it wasn't Treadwell's. It was something like that. But there was a dress shop, big dress shop there.
Oh, yeah.
And then down further from that, there was, a chap had a tobacconist's.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Frank.
That's right. There was a chap in there before him, though.
Yeah.
And then next door down to that, I think I'm right in saying, there was a plumber shop.
Oh, sir.
Yeah. And then where Bricknell's is now was Tremaine and Collicutt's grocery shop.
Yeah.
And my cousin Jenny had her wedding reception upstairs.
Did she really?
Yes, I can remember going up there. And I got a photograph here somewhere of when Wadebridge Town Football Club won a big football match, and there's a picture of all the players sitting around there. There's my dad and Sam Triclone and several people in this for this football match. I won this big cup.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And of course, the Gary Dutton's have always been a butcher's.
Right.
That was Sleeman's over the end of the bridge. They had there. And of course, where Woollicott's is now was Chapman Brothers Draper's shop.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Mr. Paul, the shoe shop over the other side.
Yeah.
And then there was Jago's.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And then up next to Jago's was the Swab shop.
Yes, that's right. Remember that? Yeah.
Who used to run that? Mr. Crabbe used to be up there. Margaret Emery's father.
Oh, yes.
He used to be up there quite a bit. And then next door to that was Saunders's shoe shop.
Yeah.
Which was the new North Cornwall Boot and Shoe Company at one time.
Was it
Yes. Yes. And then there was Mrs. G.
Yeah.
Mrs. G and her wool shop.
Right.
And she had a little lending library in there as well.
All right.
And you could go in there and pay so much a week and borrow a book to read. And
Brilliant.
yes, dear of her. And then, of course, next to that was Powell's.
Yeah.
In between, there was a barber's.
Right.
Fred Salmon's barber was in between that. And then there was Powell's. And then further up the street, there was a ladies' hairdresser's. My father's oldest brother, my Uncle George, he had another daughter called Pat, and she married him. Pat and Capes. Capes is hairdressers, and she married. And they were married. I was quite young when they were married, and they both had TB, and they were married from their hospital beds down at TAD Hospital.
Were they? Really?
Yeah.
Blimey.
And then they went, Terry was trained to be a teacher, and they went up country, and he ended up as headmaster of a big comprehensive up in York.
Yeah.
He died not long ago. And then back up above that again was, no, not Hickman's. Hickman's was the other side of the road. There was another Simmons's.
All right.
And that was a greengrocer, or a grocery shop up there where London Stores is now. That was Higgins.
Yeah.
I can only just remember it, so you haven't got hope. And that was Simmons's was up there then. And when Mum and Dad lived on Egglesale Road, Mrs. Simmons lived next door to him. The Simmons's lived next door to him somewhere on Egglesale Road.
Yeah.
But, as I say, Mum and Dad didn't live there very long because it was too noisy for my dad.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to laugh. Yeah.
I mean, Moser Street was different because it was traffic, wasn't it?
Well, yes.
Two-way traffic, not pedestrianised like today.
And, it was when the traffic was going through the town, it was always a busy little town. I know it was a damn nuisance if you was going anywhere because you were snarled up in traffic. And I was coming home one day, Long Egg Row, a couple of years ago, and I moaned because I caught the traffic at the top of Cliffs End Hill, and I thought, well, 30 years ago, you'd have caught it outside Bridge.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was moaning about the traffic.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mustn't moan about the traffic.
No. The time you'd waste stuck in traffic.
Yeah, and the pollution too, which nobody
Yes.
thought about pollution back in those days. There wasn't such a thing.
No, exactly.
No. But,
No.
and I mean, when I used to cycle to work, I'd go and cycle along Egglesell Road, and no such thing as cycle lanes because there wasn't that much traffic to worry about. You just went
Or
on.
speed bumps.
No. Oh my goodness sake. I used to cycle an awful lot. I used to cycle down to Polseth and all that. I wouldn't do it now. Traffic would scare me stiff.
Yeah.
That's partly because I'm getting older, I suppose. But
Yeah, well, we pick and choose what roads we cycle on.
Yeah.
And when time of the year and that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's good. I'm sure I will be back. But that's a good start, that is. Oh, thank you for that.
That's all right, my
perfect.
dear. You're more than welcome. It's been a joy. I've thoroughly
It's
enjoyed
been brilliant,
thinking
hasn't
about
it?
all these things.
Brilliant. Lovely.
Yeah, you brought back all sorts of things that I thought I'd forgotten.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to say goodbye to everybody,
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you for listening to me whittering away on.
proper job. Lovely. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Sue. That was proper. Really enjoyed that. That was really good. I thought for me Cornish word of the week, as I was saying, Pat Farrett there, she's 100 years old, so I thought I'd use the word for 100, which is cans. Cans. And I thought for me Cornish dialect of the week, I get this off me mate Steve down west. Now, he's a Camborne boy, and I have promised that I will get him on sometime because, like I say, he did work in the tin mines years ago, and to be very interesting to speak to him. But he's still a boy. He's about my age, so there's time. There will be time. But he come out with some booty dialect. He really do. And I was talking to him last week. We was talking away, and he said, God, we're really busy. I said, yeah, we're busy too. And then he come out with this bit of dialect, which I'd never heard before. I thought it was brilliant. And this is what he said, if they was busy. He said, we bloody flat out like a lizard drinking, which I'd never heard before. We flat out like a lizard drinking. So there's a new one for you. Although it might not be, you might have heard it before, but I am. So thank you, Steve, and we will have you on in the future. Right, well, that's enough for this week, I think. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll be on again next week. I've got another busy week, and I've got an idea what I'm going to do for my interview next week. Just got to get it sorted. But I hope you have a good week. Wish you well. Do Guinness. Carlo Bisfican.